Hello, friends, everyone. Happy everyone. I welcome to this show in conversation with. Today we have a very interesting person from Mumbai. Mr. Chandrakant Salunkhe is the founder and president of SME Chamber of India and SME Export Promotion Council as well. And he is with us, and I heartily welcome Mr. Chandrakant ji.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
How are you, sir?
Good. Enjoying sitting at home, doing live webinars, meeting people online. It's a virtual world now.
Absolutely. So, in the current scenario, of course, we are maximum utilizing the technology in our favor and everybody's favor. So, friends, I would like to introduce the guest for all of you. A very interesting personality, Mr. Chandrakant Salunkhe. He is a business owner. He runs several organizations. And interestingly, more than the business, of course, he represents SME Forum and SME Chamber. That is more important for today's conversation because he is the founder and president of SME Chamber of India, and he's also the founder and president of SME Export Promotion Council of India. And he helps SMEs, he helps young entrepreneurs, he helps startup organizations, business growth and export opportunities across the world, business education, knowledge, capacity building, fundraising, interface with the policy makers, technology transfers, so many aspects HME Chamber of India does it. In fact, I was so fortunate about 5 to 6 years back, I attended one of their very important program, SME, it's called Maharashtra SME Summit, where more than 350 MSME entrepreneurs, SME entrepreneurs participated from across Maharashtra, and even the local minister participated, state minister participated, industry minister. And like that, it does almost every day one program or other happens in SME Chamber of India. And I'm very glad. In fact, I also represent a Chamber of Commerce from here, back in Chennai, Andhra Chamber of Commerce. It's my proud privilege to interact with another Chamber's president and founder. With this brief note, I thought I will quickly have a conversation with Mr. Chandrakant ji. Chandrakant ji, before I really start my questions to you, I would love to hear from you your entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you, Anandji, for inviting me to sharing my thoughts, my views, and particularly some suggestions, guidance to SME sector in this pandemic situation, because this situation never we thought, at least before I think say like a 15 to 20th March. But nevertheless, we have to now stay, live, and work during this pandemic and during this COVID impact. Coming back to my entrepreneurial journey, see, I have started working with my father's business, which was involved in the packaging industry when I was in school, ninth standard. So during that time, my father told me that work with the workers in the factory. Then you will realize by sitting in an office that what workers are doing and how they are doing and how they are working on table, so that you will understand how much time they are spending to produce the product and how they are putting their efforts for 8 hours, 10 hours for growth of your company or our company. So similarly, I started working. Then after my education, I started full time working with my father. Then I realized, say like 85 to 90, 1990, that SME sector is a lacking what means connections, communication, and cost. Cost in the sense, large corporate or big companies are not giving that much cost or the value the product which we supply. And during that time, I have integrated lots of companies together. I took their issues to the government authority in Maharashtra, rather Mumbai. And,
Okay.
Mumbai, so that time there was a huge problem in a labor union harassments. They are asking a ransom money from the owners. They close the factory. We will not pay for that. And also the local gundas here in Mumbai. So with this, with this world, we have started working, fighting with them, surviving with them, rather, to coming from that problem. So this is my working generally in my business activity and general activity. During 1991, 92, 93, you must be aware that in Mumbai there was so many disturbance happened.
Correct.
At that time, I had an interaction with the government, and I realized that there is a need of power to
Mhm.
set up one SME division,
Mhm.
which is very important to provide a platform for knowledge sharing, connectivity, and interaction with the government bodies. So I have started this Small and Medium Business Development Chamber of India as a like a Maharashtra state related activities. Then I interacted with the Sri Sharad Pawarji, Maharashtra Chief Minister. Then Mr. Manohar Joshi became a Chief Minister. Then we are started interacting, started organizing various programs for Marathi entrepreneurs, for Maharashtrian entrepreneurs. Then around 1997, I realized this we should not keep a limited.
Mm.
So we should not keep this limited. We should think about to expand this activity in Delhi.
Okay. Mhm.
When Atal Bihari Vajpayee was there as a Prime Minister, that time we have started our activity at Delhi and other places. So ultimately, we have now presence in all India level, including our Andhra, Chennai,
Mhm.
Tamil Nadu, Kerala. And
Mhm.
earlier there was offices, but now we have started virtual support because now a lot of SMEs are not looking, to come and sit in the office. Nowadays, everything virtual going on.
Virtual.
Now, how
Yeah.
we are doing now virtual, and every entrepreneurs are looking support, guidance,
Mhm.
and connectivity. We started that. This
Mhm.
is my. I want to share my thoughts, particularly the developments during last 26 years.
Correct. That's beautifully said. In fact, the journey is very pretty interesting because you would have undergone all the struggles in early 90s. And after formulation of SME Chamber of India, I guess hundreds and thousands of people, I know the entrepreneurs have become member of SME Chamber of India, which I came to know. I was so happy that, when I met you time and about 5, 6 years ago in Andheri East, if I'm right, your office is. And you said that more than, I think, more than 20,000 or 30,000 people have registered with you as a member of SME Chamber of India. And you also have, interestingly, I even noted down certain things like you have SME Chamber of India, then you started Startup Council of India, then India International Trade Center, then Marathi Chamber of Business and Industries, also you are Mumbai Business Forum, Packaging Industry Association. Now, there are so many things you have actually, be part of. And when I visited your website, SME Chamber of India website, I could find that you have a lot of divisions in which you are handling. For example, SME talks, you have SME branding consultants, you have SME advisors, and so on and so forth. So, how are you really be able to manage so many things, business and SME chamber, and representing so many forums? How do you really manage all this?
Let me tell you one gimmick of SME entrepreneurs. You know that SME entrepreneurs face a 42 issues per day.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Aware
Okay.
about it?
No, I'm
Then
not.
another
Okay.
point. SME entrepreneurs play a role.
Uh
More
huh.
than 38 roles are playing per day in
Okay.
his life.
Okay.
SME entrepreneur, he is a owner of company,
Yes.
the main employee of the company.
Yes.
Okay, he is a planner,
Yes.
thinking for financials. He's
Yes.
thinking for marketing of his product. He's
Yes.
thinking how I will deal with the bank. He's thinking how I'll identify new customers. He is thinking how I'll compete with my
Yes.
competitors. He is looking for a new opportunity. He is
Correct.
looking for new technology. He is
Correct.
reading for what will be happen tomorrow.
Yes.
So thoughts grabbing is there.
Correct.
Next, what is the
Absolutely.
government issues are there, government schemes are there, incentives
Policies.
are there, government policies are bringing on the table where we can take advantage, finding new and affordable raw material, finding semi-finished goods,
Mm-hmm.
interacting with the workers,
Mm-hmm.
interacting with the employees, guiding them,
Mm-hmm.
educating them, training them, then
Mm-hmm.
then finding a new market, thinking for for
Mm-hmm.
expanding business opportunity, businesses activities in the national, international level. Then also facing problem to not getting raw material on time. Orders are
Mm-hmm.
okay or not? Orders are going to
Absolutely.
cancel or not? So all these things, one entrepreneur have to, one entrepreneur has to, decide or think or plan accordingly. So in large corporate,
Thanks.
chairman is depend on his CEO, CFO, director of finance, director marketing, director, we can say promotion, work manager, factory manager, then
Departments will be
supply chain
there.
manager,
Correct.
logistics manager. So he is getting all the information on his desktop. Here, small entrepreneur has to play a very important role. So therefore, I have learned from my business. So I am using my skill for operating my organization like
Wonderful.
my baby, like my own business. So when we
Wonderful.
treat it
Wonderful.
as business, we we are sure that we should not lose any loss or any bad name to be in the market.
Absolutely. In fact, we all know only 10 avatars. Now you said 40 avatars of MSME entrepreneur. It's
I have
very,
not
very
disclosed
interesting.
any disclose not I have not disclosed 10 or 12 more.
Very interesting. In fact, it's very, very true, sir. And that is also one of the main reasons why they are always on toes all the time, 24 by 7. And I also have a lot of empathy towards MSME entrepreneurs because I come from MSME fraternity. I also represent MSME subcommittee of Chamber. The bigger challenge, of course, I would like to come to the challenge part later. I would like to ask you a question to start with this. Um, could you please share the current situation of MSME entrepreneurs in the country on the whole?
Okay. See, according to the government list database, there are 6 crore and 35 lakhs MSMEs in India. MSME contains that micro, tiny, small, and medium. Now you must be seeing the definition has changed by the government.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
happy to share that I was a member of that committee, which was
yes,
appointed by the current government in last 3 months ago, and we had a final meeting on 25th and 26th February, which you had seen the result. But
yes,
let me tell you the background of this MSME Act. 2002, 1st May, I have organized entrepreneurship meet and awards at Delhi at Delhi in presence of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and he was the chief guest at my program. During that time, there was a call SSI Ministry. You must be aware that there
yes.
was SSI Ministry, which was headed by Mrs. Vasundhara Raje from Rajasthan.
Understand.
And I have demanded, Honorable Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, that we are from SSI, small scale industries, when will become a medium or large corporate?
Okay.
When will become a big?
Good.
Why we are not becoming big? Because we can't match with the international definition.
Mm.
We can't match with the international, the required norms and regulations for the SME or MSME sector.
Mm.
Rather in the world there is no MSME, but government has decided to give more importance to the micro and tiny, so they put a MSME M for a micro. The point is, during that time, I have requested Honorable Prime Minister, then Prime Minister Vajpayee Sahab, to think about to change the definition, to change the system, and put more efforts for the empowerment of SME sector. Then they took around say 4 years to decide. When the Dr. Manmohan Singh government was there, that time we had an interaction with the TK Nair, his principal secretary,
Okay.
and during that time we took up this matter, and then this MSME Act is implemented. After
Oh,
that,
okay.
even though there were a lot of problems while interacting with the foreign companies because our investment was very less because rupee value is now you see that
Yeah.
rupee value has decreased, and therefore when we interact, when we collaborate, or when we alliance with any foreign company, we should also have a comparison for a investment and rather employment. So therefore now result you had seen about this. Now coming to the point of the current situation. Current situation is very impacting to the SME sector because SME sector never thought this kind of situation they have to face. because SMEs are not prepared for reservation or keeping raw material stock because of the inventory problem, because of the cash purchase, or because of the payment. Then second thing, very important, labor issue, workforce issues there, and this COVID-19, I think, has killed the MSME sector in India. And
Mhm.
I have a fear, and I'm very much, very worried about that. At least
Mhm.
7.5 lakh to 9 lakh companies in India will close down next 3 months.
Mhm.
Very
Okay.
serious note I want to share with you at your platform.
Mhm. That's very, very sad, sir.
7.5 lakh to 9 lakh companies will be closing down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Many reasons. Lack of funding, lack of capital, lack of business, lack of labor, and lack of support from the state governments.
Mhm. Mhm.
This situation is very, very impacting, and this situation will be going to kill the MSMEs, and rather, this
Mhm.
situation is going to kill the new entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
When we encourage new entrepreneurship, nobody will think to start startups also, or not.
Mhm.
Nobody will think to start a business because looking at this situation.
The spirit will not be there. That's very, very statistically you have given good insights. Good insights means like the data you have given because people who wanted to start company, people who wanted to venture into business, or people who wanted to expand that business, they have to be doubly careful with this kind of caution which you are giving. But sir, this pandemic, kind of a sub question I'm asking you. Supposing if when we look at positively, optimistically, if the pandemic gets over, let's say for next 2 to 3 months time, do you think that still the same scenario will continue? The data which you shared now.
Scenario will be continued because government has not come out with a direct benefit.
Mm.
See, the point is, government has given the relief or support package. Those are enjoying banking facility
Already.
already.
Mm.
Not so sufficient, not so satisfactory, and not so beneficial to SME, MSME sector, whatever
Mm.
uh, the support announced by the government. See, 20 lakh crore is a package. In that, 3 lakh crore is a package given to MSME sector. Those are enjoying banking facility.
Correct.
But do you know that 45 lakh MSMEs are enjoying banking facility in 6 crore and 35 lakhs?
Correct.
So ultimately, 5 crore and 90 lakhs MSMEs are going to are going to face a big problem because they
They don't
are not,
have. They don't
they
have
are
the
not going
access.
to do something.
Correct. Correct. I get your point, sir. I get your point. So, keeping this data and scenario in mind, how do you see the future of SMEs, MSMEs, let's say from December onwards or from January 2021 onwards? So, what kind of hope, what kind of optimism left out now for MSMEs?
See, here we can say about 2 points. One point, those are not capable, they will wipe out. Those are capable, those are having a good planning, those are having good setup,
Mhm.
they will struggle for a few months.
Mhm.
They will struggle for a few months, but they will come on the track. Government says that
Mhm.
there is a huge opportunity. Honorable Minister for MSME, Mr. Gadkari, says every day in a webinar that there is a huge opportunity for SME sector. But I want to ask a question to Mr. Gadkari. Have you done level playing field for MSMEs in India, where we can compete with the China, where we can compete with the Korea, where we can compete with the Japan or European countries? Not at all. Still in MSMEs in India, 6 crore, 5 crore and 90 lakhs MSMEs are facing problem to get funding from banks.
Mhm.
We are doing traditional funding.
Correct.
We are enjoying traditional funding still now.
Mhm.
People from the rural area, they are taking a loan, a private loan or a personal loan at the rate of
Family.
25%, 30%.
Correct.
This is the issue. Second thing, we have not, rather given that much importance by the state governments.
Mhm.
Talking all state government, not only one Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat. All
Okay.
governments are not doing anything,
Okay.
particularly for the empowerment of SME sector.
Okay.
My thoughts at this your question is that those MSMEs are capable, they will survive. Those MSMEs are not capable, I don't think they will survive.
Okay. Sir, there are two things which you said. One is about the government support to MSMEs, both central government and state government. Two, you said MSMEs themselves, if they are good at planning, if they are able to manage themselves, they will survive and grow. People who are not really structured and planned well, they will die. This is also applicable to the individuals, people who are working in organizations without skills. And they will get wiped out. It is happening not only in India, it is happening in Western countries. This morning, I received a message from somebody from US that, a lot of layoff is happening. A lot of companies are sending people out. So ultimately, it is also an issue of skill building, right? There is a skill gap requirement with respect to people, and there is also knowledge skill gap requirement at the entrepreneurial level. That is why Chamber of Commerce come into play. Whether SME Chamber of Commerce or Andhra Chamber or any other chamber, we are all continuously educating the people. But the problem is, in my experience, how much ever we educate, how much ever we share knowledge, the empowerment is not properly being utilized by several MSMEs also. Do you agree with this point? I'm not blaming them. I'm saying people who are not yet prepared to face this pandemic. Suddenly, when the crisis comes, everybody says, "No, let me go for a job," which means, as an entrepreneur, you should also plan ahead of time, right? Have they really utilized the services being offered so far? Which is a critical question.
Let me tell you my experience and my observation about the SME entrepreneurs. How you take a breakfast, how you take a lunch, how you take dinner. Okay, why you are not understanding the facility or the incentives or schemes available for you? Everything is on public domain.
Correct.
Okay, business formulation, business promotion, business setup, everything is available on the public domain. But SME entrepreneurs, when they attend any program, if the minister or any government officer is there, they will start asking the nasty questions.
You are right.
They are not representing their issues. First of all, MSMEs should learn how to represent their issues, how to
Yes.
present their problems, how to present their hurdles to the government, how you present yourself when you go to doctor, when you go to lawyer, when you go to the chapter accountant.
Correct.
This is my lacking. Now guide me. Similarly,
Correct.
when you approach any chamber can play important role. One, knowledge sharing. Second, networking platform. Third, promotion. And fourth is supporting you when you are in trouble, when you are in
Yes.
difficult situation. So
Correct.
ultimately, SME entrepreneurs should approach banks, government, chamber, institutions when they are looking for a particular support, guidance, and we can say assistance.
Correct, correct. I think this is where the role comes as a chamber of commerce. In fact, there's an appeal to all the MSMEs who are watching, all the entrepreneurs who are watching. We are all here in whatever ways, in whatever levels we are. Today, I'm talking to a president of a chamber, and I'm also part of a chamber at the MSME subcommittee in Andhra chamber. So, like that, there are hundreds of chambers available. Wherever you are connected in local chamber of commerce or local associations, industrial associations of your sector, kindly please network with them, please connect with them. You don't operate silos, because you need more moral support from everybody. This is what an appeal to all the people who are watching here. Sir, with that, I like to go for the next question, which is about the global competitiveness. What are the global competitiveness and opportunities do you foresee for MSME sector?
See, global competitiveness is a lack of investment, funding, and there is a lot of issues. So ultimately, I want to suggest to the MSME sector that adopt advanced technology, patented technology, put efforts for the manufacturing quality product,
Okay.
best services as per the global market, and most importantly, how you will survive in the international market with best quality product,
Okay.
competitive cost,
Okay.
and services on time. Then
Okay.
only we can compete with the other market. The
Correct.
government is saying the competitiveness is the most important for the this thing. And there is a huge gap, competitiveness to innovations. There
Mm.
is next question I will answer on this matter.
We will go deep into that. We will dive deep into those areas as well. I have few questions on that. So, with respect to funding, of course, we talked about government 3 lakh crore and whatever the relief packages which government of India has talked about. Other than that, what kind of funding support actually on ground available for MSMEs today?
We talk about funding purpose, then other than banks, there is some fund, then financial support is available. If MSME sector can visit the Ministry of MSME website, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Food Processing Industry, and other ministries' websites where they will get a support. Nowadays, a lot of state government also started giving support to the financial support to the bank. But ultimately, I want to suggest the SME sector that we should not depend on the funding provided by the government. Okay.
Okay.
Because of that, you are not going to able to get that funding on time. You have to spend time for or efforts for that getting that funding. Best way, use the platform of the government for the promotion, branding, marketing of your products. Use their platform to connect with the global importers and particularly buyers, suppliers, manufacturers, or a technology transfer or technology alliance or technology partnership. This is a good opportunity for MSME sector.
Um, with that, I would like to go to the next portion of our discussion, which is actually connected back to our global competitiveness subject, which we discussed a few minutes ago. See, when it comes to technology, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to R&D, when it comes to new product development, NPD, the patenting the technology, the IP, which are not being aware of many MSMEs, hundreds of MSMEs, I can say, in my own fraternity. This is only done by only the mid-cap organizations, people who are doing 100 crores plus, or only are able to actually focus on this. They don't really focus on anybody who does 10 crore or 20 crore business. They don't even spend more time unless and until the owner of the business is a technopreneur and he bothers more about this IP. He goes around, spend a lot of time. Otherwise, many MSMEs, hundreds of MSMEs don't even focus on that. So, what is your take on that?
I'll tell you. First of all, MSMEs in India never put efforts for the innovation and invention. Okay? We put efforts for the manufacturing product, quality product. But most of the companies I have not seen that they are putting efforts for the innovation, invention, because they don't have time for that. They don't have manpower for that. They don't have a trial and error business for that. Number one. But here I can tell you, some people, those I already work in a large corporate, big companies, or a technical person, or a technocrat, what they do when they left the job, okay, they start some business, they take a patent for that product, they try to start manufacturing. Sometimes they stuck up for manufacturing. They try to find a partner to right partner for starting a manufacturing unit. Sometimes they wait for a finance investment to start that manufacturing. But in India, I'll tell you, my observation, hardly 2% or maybe 1%, not 2% is very far, big.
Correct.
1% companies must be putting efforts for the innovation, invention, and product development, product designing, and product, we can say, uh, development. As a new product development is a NPD, you said similarly. Usually, some companies are not having that much skill manpower or skilled people or knowledgeable people to put efforts for their value addition or put efforts for the value for a development of product. But I suggest the MSMEs in India, particularly those in manufacturing or any other sector, start inventing some new product. Start putting some efforts or putting some funds for the innovation. because you will be going to recognize, first of all, from my chamber as an award.
Mhm.
We recognize the unsung heroes, those who have done technological development activities, technological development product or something. Our chamber will recognize you. Second, government is also supporting on that. Government is paying cash prize also. Technology Board of India is also paying cash prize also. You will be getting orders from that. You will be connecting with the foreign companies, and you will be getting good connection with the different industries.
Okay. So there is a hope, there is an education, there is an awareness which even your chambers are creating for your fraternity, members of your fraternity. Sir, with that, in fact, now the technical glitch is actually resolved now. So I would request you to kindly share once again about the funding and finance options which you just shared a few minutes ago.
Finance and funding options for the innovation invention you're talking?
Generally, for MSMEs, the access to funding, access to finance is limited because they don't know. They only borrow money from friends. They go for third party. They pay huge interest, and finally they suffer. So, what are the funding and finance options available for MSMEs today?
Funding opportunity for MSME is now available from banking sector only. When I was a advisory board member of SIDBI, I think 1996-97, that time we have introduced the 25 lakh rupees collateral free loan for SME
Okay.
manufacturers, micro
Okay.
manufacturers, micro and
Okay.
small manufacturers. That time started only collateral free loan. Second, there was a huge problem to get the loan from the banks during that time because collateral was not available, business planning was not proper, project reports are not also proper. So therefore, there was a lot of problem. Another point now, let me tell you, 2008, when Mr. Mr. Bhave, CB Bhave, SEBI chairman, took a charge 3rd February 2008, and he has attended one of my program on 3rd May 2008
Okay.
in presence of Dr. C. Rangarajan,
Okay. Governor.
chairman for Prime Minister Economic Advisory,
Oh, okay. He was a former governor of Reserve Bank of India also.
and
Yeah.
Exim Bank of India chairman, and the then Secretary Mr. Dinesh Rai from the Minister of MSME. I invited both of them to attend my one program, and that time I have demanded for a SME stock exchange.
Okay. SME exchange. Okay. That's good actually.
This
Yeah.
is my efforts to bring the SME stock exchange, to
Okay.
put the ball rolling into discussion, and that took
Okay.
3 years
Okay.
to review and to implement. And I'm happy to share this information to all the MSMEs in India that Mr. Bhave announced this SME stock exchange is going to start immediately at
Mm-hmm.
my program on 11th February, 11th July 2011.
Okay.
3 years to
Okay.
review, decide, and formulate
Launch.
that law, this thing. And the BSE has started first.
Okay. But I was also very happy because I'm interacting with SME Exchange people here with NSC. I think I was told that about 700 people across the country have actually now onto the SME Exchange platform. And of course, most of them are north and west, and very, very limited people from south side. From our side, it's about 70 people, if I'm right. Because SMEs also have to undergo a lot of structural changes in their papers in their organization as an organization before they really get onto the platform. So, as a chamber, SME chamber, since you talked about this subject, I'm so excited to ask you: do you support SME members in guiding them to go towards SME exchange to access funds?
Rather, after the starting SME stock exchange, we have organized more than at least say 40 to 50 programs
Okay.
to create awareness among the SME sector.
Okay.
And I was the main part of that the discussion had with the SEBI
Okay.
2010 and 2011 early first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, there was a discussion and there was a questions raised by the SEBI that most the MSMEs,
Mm-hmm.
most of the MSMEs are not adapting the business ethics.
Okay.
Most of the MSMEs are not adopting the good governance.
Okay.
I have requested Mr. Bhave, SEBI chairman, that why you are not including this clause.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that time when they published the terms and the formalities of the listing on this stock exchange,
Exchange. Yeah.
there was a one clause called 49 clause. There's a business ethics and good governance amongst SMEs. So
Okay.
this business ethics and good governance will create a confidence, will create confidence amongst the
Absolutely.
SMEs, will create confidence among the investors. And the
Absolutely.
company will be working like a foreign company because
Mhm.
management system is good, everything is good. The management
Absolutely.
system of the SME entrepreneurs is not then, no planning, no growth will be there.
Absolutely. In fact, this is given a wonderful insight to me. The Quality Council of India, QCI, is very, very stringent and they are bringing out a lot of standards to be maintained. Even the people who give accreditation and people who give certification, they all have to undergo the, as you rightly use the word, corporate governance, the business governance with a lot of ethics to be followed. And sir, there are hundreds and thousands of experts are there in the marketplace, SME experts whom we call SME advisors, people who are MSME expert as a subject matter expert. I always ask this question to my fraternity: why government is not utilizing the resources, human resources which are available in the marketplace? I think more than 10 lakh people would be there in my guess across the country who are typically working with MSME every single day as a consultant. They are all freelancers, independent consultant. If we all unite these power of 10 lakh, 1 million people, imagine the kind of knowledge share to MSME sector. Why is the government is not looking at this option?
Okay, this is a good question. And when you said about the many councils, many platform in my chamber, so this is one platform is there called SME Consultant Group. So we
Okay.
have started integration of the SME consultants from all over India.
Okay.
Because see, some SME consultants can give guidance to virtual platform.
Correct.
Some SMEs can go and sit with their workforce and to understand their operation, understand their manufacturing unit, understand their productivity, understand their technology.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So therefore, I invite the SME consultants all over India. Those are looking to share, to provide, to to give the guidance, support, assistance to MSME sector from manufacturing industry and other sector. I welcome them to list their name and details on my smechamberofindia.com so that
Okay.
we can connect with them. Other when you
Collaborate.
said about this, particularly the consultancy services, see, I found that in India, around say 30 to 35% MSMEs must be taking the guidance from the all these
Consultants.
consultants. But I want to suggest the MSME, they have to take all these services from these people. First, business advisory services, marketing, skill and scale development program for their workers, accounting, financial management, branding, advertisement,
Mm.
marketing in
Mm.
international markets, training, regular training for their employees, and most importantly, understanding the government services.
Mm.
Because most probably SMEs are not understanding the government
Correct.
services. So this is
Correct.
a good opportunity to avail these services to enhance your business, improve your business, and enhance your competitiveness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, there are two things which I thought I'd be glad to share with you. There is a person in Tamil Nadu. He's an young man. He's an independent consultant. He has done 400 projects, MSME projects with the government. He has, generated a support system to create, interaction between MSME owner and the government, the bank, and received a lot of funds, government funds for marketing, for example, working capital, things like that. So what I did is last about 40 days during this lockdown period, I made him to speak in Tamil, I mean our local language, and talk about all the schemes one by one, like this conversation. it has created a lot of impact among at least some 100 MSMEs in the Tamil Nadu state. I mean, they don't know that there is a scheme exists. We always say, to be very frank with you, that most of the MSME schemes are utilized by the North people. South people don't know anything about MSME schemes.
Even Western India also don't know many things.
Correct. So that's a good point you talked about knowing the schemes of government. Okay, that is one side. Now let me move on to the almost the fag end of our discussion. Only I have two questions to ask you. One is about the migrant workers. I saw your television interview in Mirror TV a couple of days ago, and the top you were asked and the journalist asked, and you all talked about the five challenges. One of the challenges is migrant worker, and you also gave a beautiful suggestion for migrant workers. So, what is your voice on migrant workers?
First of all, Government of India should not impose lockdown instantly in a 1 day time. They should be given time, at least 7 days time, to the people from various parts of India to go their hometown. Migrant labor stuck up at the road, they work on the road, through road. They have not taken any advantage of the transportation because of the lockdown. So therefore, there was a big mess. And ultimately, all the migrant laborers are unhappy with the local government's arrangement. So ultimately, as per my assumption, migrant labor will be very big issue for SME sector, for industry, large industry, farming industry, textile industry, foundry industry, automotive industry. Because I don't think they will come back immediately. And government is not going to put any single rupee for them, state government, central government, or even industries also, because of the health, they will not come back to very soon. Their family members will not allow to go. Who will come? A single person. Those are having their own setup to stay, their
Family, yeah.
arrangements, they will be coming. But my suggestion and my appeal to the government and state government that they should put efforts, they should arrange for them to bring the workers back. Unless until if workers will not come, whole supply chain will be disturbed.
Correct.
MSME will not work, large corporate will not supply. If large corporate will not work, MSME cannot supply. This will be whole impact, and this impact will be on the state GDP, central GDP, and I don't think we will be achieving the single digit or 1% or 2% growth in this year.
Correct. But the onus
to negative.
But the onus lies not just only with the government. I mean, as far as my understanding goes, because see, for example, I invited somebody to work at my home. Some Bihari came to my place to cook as a cook. And supposing if I send him out, is it not my responsibility to look after him? It is also the responsibility of the MSME owner or the industry, at least 25%, 25% by state, 25% by the central government, 25% by themselves. See, for example, many of the states, people have said that don't go, stay. But people started going. It is also equally, yeah.
This COVID impact is so much fearful. Because of that, no one is thinking, because see now, if someone is having the COVID infected, they have to pay 10 lakhs rupees, 8 lakhs rupees for hospitals. I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my known people, when they admitted in the hospital after this COVID, they have to pay 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs rupees for the 10 days, 12 days, 14 days treatment. Ultimately, these poor workers, from where they will pay money? Ultimately, they have decided to go back. See, war and COVID impact is like a same. This is invisible enemy, that was a visible enemy. So ultimately, everybody is, the Prime Minister said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." Ultimately, that's why government has decided to allow these people to go their home.
Okay. I mean, in Tamil Nadu, I think the government is doing quite a good job. They've done a nice job of handling the migrant workers. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I could see a lot of things are happening. But only thing is,
I'll tell you, the migrant labor is a government job, government's work, and government's responsibility. When government is thinking and asking us to create employment, this time government should put effort,
supposed to do.
invest money to bring them there and take care of their food and everything.
So do you think, because this 100 years pandemic, the first time all experiencing, government is also experiencing the first time. So do you think after this post-COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of changes will come into effect in handling migrant workers? Do you foresee policy changes will
Of
happen?
course, because I think government started and government of
Mhm.
India already started, and each state government should do the listing of all these people, particularly, and this will be good opportunity for the industry.
Mhm.
Who's
Mhm.
unemployed, employment is there, so they can
Mhm.
approach concerned industry, and each state government can keep a record that how many workers from the how many countries states are
It's
working in India.
the data.
Data.
Okay, that's good actually. So you have covered the length and breadth of MSME sector and bird's eye view, of course. I would love to interview you in conversation with you more often down the line once the pandemic is, because you will also be busy with your own endeavors because you are handling multiple states, and I know that you attended just Maharashtra CM's meeting and came for this show. From bottom of my heart, on behalf of my organization, Sea Change Consulting, and all my MSME experts team from Sea Change and Andhra Chamber of Commerce as a MSME representative, I really thank you for your time and your insights. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandrakant ji, for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. Rather, I want to give one final message to the MSME sector.
Yeah.
The time has come to improve ourselves,
Mm.
think for a better, think for a future, and
Mm.
create some strategy or develop your strategy to keep reservation on properly. Your business planning is most important. Create a good system that your company valuation can increase.
Correct.
Produce quality product for not only to survive a local market, for the international market.
Correct.
Think local, but do global.
Local for local. I
Local
want
for
to go
local.
to global. Yeah.
Another point. Don't think that government of India is not thinking about MSME sector. Let me give you final my word that Honorable Prime Minister of India invited me to share my thoughts on 27 December.
Mhm.
Decided to give 30 minutes, but he spent 3 hours to
Oh,
understand
wow.
issues, hurdles, and
Mhm.
what can be done for SME sector. Okay? Whatever the fruit you are looking now or a facility you are looking, this is the effort our chamber which interacted with the Prime Minister. And I'm sure that in coming days, the government of India will bring many good, good platform, good support, valuable support, timely support, and adequate support for the MSME sector, not only for their own businesses, but to growth of the India. Another point, uh, if we have a good proposal, if you have a say the word is then a viable proposal, I don't think banks will deny your proposal. Banks are ready to
Correct.
fund you. Banks are ready to give you
Correct.
finance. Only you have to take consultants' help, prepare proper proposal, and visit banks. So another final my suggestion: approach SME Chamber of India, particularly for support,
Mm.
for assistance, for guidance to enhance your business, enhance your connectivity, and enhance your growth. With these words, I'm thankful to you, and I'm thankful to you for taking time to interview me. And second thing, let us work together. Let us plan some activities together for the Tamil
Sure.
Nadu and Andhra, where we can
Sure.
provide a platform for SMEs to local to global. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. And you've given three messages, one for MSMEs and one for the consultants. And also you've given a lot of inputs about the government schemes. So I'm deeply grateful to you. Thank you so much. Namaste.